don't regret a single minute I've spent with you.
I think you're the first man I've ever loved.
We don't talk about Modern Family's biggest heartbreak enough. I know, it's not a breakup between married couples or a dramatic family fight. It's a quiet one, the kind that sneaks up on you long after the credits roll. Modern Family isn't just one of the most beloved sitcoms of our time. It's genuinely one of my all-time favorites. The way it balances clever, intelligent humor with the chaos and warmth of everyday life is what first pulled me in. And once you're hooked, you can't help but fall in love with these characters. You watch them grow, stumble, evolve, and support each other, and through it all, the show's heart never fades. We laughed, we cried, and we all had a favorite couple, and how could you not? The show was filled with iconic relationships.
Your dad is the nicest, most positive person I know, and he always helps me find the fun in life. And he is still real easy on the peepers.
Oh, we really are lucky.
No.
From Phil and Claire's chaotic yet loving marriage,
Listen to me, Jay Pritchett. A lot of people assume that I married you because of your money, and that's only a very, very small part of it.
I'd like to go back to that.
I married you because you were sexy. You still are. Who knows for how long that's gonna last for either of us.
to Jay and Gloria's surprisingly tender romance,
The restaurant where we had our first date, the sunset lighting that Cam loves. He was going to propose. I was so touched, but at the same time, he was ruining the one chance I had for romantic redemption.
to Cam and Mitch's heartfelt partnership. Modern Family gave us something a lot of sitcoms at the time were lacking. Romances where the spouses didn't low-key hate each other for comedic effect. Romances that felt both real and refreshingly un-Hollywood.
Please, you can't stop thinking about him. You're checking on him. He's not even like a real person. He's like a Muppet.
Hailey Dunphy and Andy Bailey were two characters who on paper couldn't be more different, and yet they made sense in all the ways that truly matters. They didn't just have chemistry, they had something many of us spend years searching for. A love that makes you feel seen, encouraged, and believed in. They were one relationship that was so clearly meant to be that its ending is quite frankly a televised tragedy. Losing that storyline didn't just affect the show, but it reminded us that not every right person stays in your life.
We should wait for the perfect moment so we can start our relationship right. Something special and magical like in the movies.
Today, we're diving deep into why Hailey and Andy should have been endgame, why their pairing represented Hailey's best character growth, why the Dylan Marshall finale felt like a giant step backwards, and how the show ultimately lost one of its most authentic storylines. Okay, let's talk about it.
Tell Mr. P who broke one of his beers.
I'm Alex. Who are you?
I'm their Manny.
By this point, we've known Hailey for about 5 seasons. We met her as this archetypal popular girl, shallow, distracted, and always glued to her phone. But Modern Family never meant for her to stay one-dimensional. Over time, we see glimpses of vulnerability, her finding her footing as a young adult, floating between jobs, identity, and life direction. A young woman trying to find her place between expectations and self-discovery.
Nice try. I know they're Manny, and you look nothing like him.
Oh, you're Hailey.
Then enters Andy, the upbeat, overly responsible Manny, aka Mill Nanny, hired by her grandparents, Jay and Gloria. He isn't a romantic interest at all. He's the last person you'd think would click with Hailey. He's idealistic, slightly nerdy, widely optimistic, and has that golden retriever energy. In a family of chaos, Andy's grounded optimism felt like a rare anchor, very much like her dad.
I hate to go all ballistic, but it has not been a pleasure meeting you.
Hailey and Andy initially clashed due to their wildly different personalities. Hailey finds him annoying and corny, and Andy finds Hailey superficial and irresponsible. It was low-key giving enemies to lovers, and you know me, I'ma eat that shit up every time.
Oh my god, it's still talking.
Because it knows you're not being respected.
Thank you.
One of the first real turning points in Hailey and Andy's relationship takes place in episode 17. As Hailey waits for her lunch date, who is running a few hours late, Andy points out how rude and inconsiderate her date's behavior is, and that a real man would be more considerate of her time. In that moment, Hailey is forced to confront something she's never really considered before, the kind of men she's choosing, and the kind she actually deserves.
Go take another nap. I'd rather wait for someone who'd walk through a blizzard for me and only honks to support the troops.
Then, when Phil ropes her into filming a romantic anniversary message for Andy's girlfriend, something shifts again. Hailey steps in to play Beth, who is Andy's girlfriend, and Andy lifts her in his arms, looks her straight in the eyes, and pours out this heartfelt speech about love and devotion.
You deserve more than I could possibly ever give you. But everything I have is yours.
He's talking to Beth in the script, but the moment lands directly on Hailey. We see it in her face. She's starting to fall for the nice guy. She's beginning to notice qualities she used to overlook: sincerity, loyalty, kindness, and suddenly, they matter. This wasn't a big, dramatic moment. It was subtle and quiet. It was the start of Hailey seeing herself and love a little differently.
Because you are funny, and you were pretty, and you were smart in an original way, so why shouldn't a guy feel lucky to love you?
In a later episode on Cam and Mitch's wedding day, Hailey agrees to drive Andy to the airport as he's planning to visit Beth in Utah. As they drive, Andy continues to reaffirm Hailey with compliments about her worth and what she deserves. Although she pretends to shrug them off, she is secretly flattered and touched by his sincere compliments. When Hailey sees a text from Beth ending the relationship, she confronts Andy, trying to understand why he would be traveling to see someone who just broke up with him. Andy tells her that Beth does this from time to time because she just likes the drama. He cuts the conversation short and asks Hailey to leave. She leaves for a bit but then returns to get something off her chest.
Andy, I don't think it's a good idea for you to get on that plane. I don't think Beth is worth it. I'm just saying, you deserve better.
She returns the earlier compliments, reaffirming him that he too has worth and deserves something good, that he deserves better than Beth. It's a moment of reflection for Hailey as she realizes she's been Beth, the one playing it cool, the one taking someone's love and devotion for granted. Through Andy, she begins to understand that that isn't strength or confidence, it's just hurtful. For the first time, she sees her dating patterns from the outside and she doesn't like what she sees. Then at the wedding, Alex confronts Hailey about her feelings for Andy, which Hailey denies. Alex finds the whole thing hilarious because Andy is not Hailey's usual type. But when Hailey tells Alex she's going to invite Andy to the wedding to hang out, since his flight has been delayed, Alex warns Hailey that she better know what she's doing getting involved with him.
Here's the thing about nice, quiet dorks like Andy. You get over us much faster than we get over you.
It seems like she was going to put herself out there and tell him how she felt, but with Alex's warning fresh in her mind, she doesn't. When Andy calls to clarify if she was speaking about anyone in particular when she said he deserved better, Hailey lies and says she was just speaking generally. Unbeknownst to her, Andy was in a taxi, waiting right outside the house, suggesting that he too was ready to put himself out there with her.
Sometimes the hardest part is just figuring out what you want.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
It's a disappointing conclusion for both of them that left me screaming at the TV. But that's where things end with them in season 5.
When you said I would be destroyed if we had kissed, what exactly did you mean by that?
Season 6 opens with Hailey and Andy discussing what happened between them the day of the wedding. They both agree that they're better off as friends, and Andy says that it would have been a disaster if they kissed because the kiss would have affected Hailey way more than it would have affected him. This offends Hailey, so she tries to prove him wrong by planting a kiss on him in disguise of a hug. However, Andy was proven right as Hailey appears to be extremely affected by the kiss.
I am not having sex with Andy. We're just friends. I'm helping him prep for a job interview that he doesn't want anybody to know about.
They maintain a genuine friendship from this moment, spending time together and motivating each other in other aspects of life, deepening their bond. That's what made their dynamic so compelling. They were each other's catalyst for growth, even as just friends. Unlike Hailey's earlier relationships, which revolved around image or convenience, her bond with Andy was rooted in emotional connection. He saw her for who she could be, not just who she was. Andy was the first person to truly see her intelligence and potential underneath the cool girl facade. He encouraged her to take her photography seriously, to get a real job, and to believe in herself. He didn't just accept her, he challenged her to be better. And for Andy, Hailey challenged him too. She taught him to loosen up, to take risks, to be a little less Muppet-like, as Alex so cruelly put it.
Beth is real.
Okay, you really want to talk about it? How real is your relationship?
Another significant moment takes place in episode 17, when they attend a carnival with Hailey's new boyfriend, as Beth was unavailable. Hailey seems to be enjoying time with Andy way more than she is with her new boyfriend. The boyfriend is basically a third wheel, not understanding their hidden jokes and their shared sense of humor. When Andy later ends up in the hospital with appendicitis, Hailey rushes to be with him before his surgery because she doesn't want him to be scared and alone. When she thinks he's unconscious, she essentially tells him that he has a shot with her, just as Beth arrives. It's a pin drop moment for Andy, because now he knows their chemistry wasn't all in his head, and he has a genuine chance with her.
If I'm your elephant, you have a shot. That's what I'm trying to say, dummy.
When he sees her again, he tries to bring this up so they can talk it through, but they kept getting interrupted by another one of Hailey's new boyfriend. In true sitcom fashion, he is roped into helping the new boyfriend write a card for Hailey.
I guess I'm just more into the chase right now, you know, like the fun. I'm just not looking for anything serious.
When Hailey reads the card, she criticizes the beautiful, heartfelt message, not realizing that Andy wrote those words. She's disappointed that her new boyfriend seems to be so into her when she just wanted something fun with him, not looking for anything serious. Obviously, the with him being the new boyfriend, is implied, but Andy doesn't recognize this. And though he is disappointed that Hailey feels this way about relationships, he replies that it's good that she figured out what she wants before anyone got hurt.
Well, it's good you know what you want before anyone got hurt.
Yeah.
The classic frustrating misunderstanding puts things on pause between them. That is until the end of the season. At a family event, Andy confides in Phil about how Beth is sending him signals to propose, but he's conflicted because there is another girl. A girl he has a strong connection with, but he doesn't know how she feels about him. Phil advises Andy to propose to Beth if he truly loves her. At the same party, Hailey also confides in Phil about how she thinks Beth is after her because Beth thinks Hailey is in love with Andy. When Phil asks her if she is, Hailey replies,
No, I mean, I care about him. He makes me laugh. I like spending time with him.
With tears in her eyes, she goes on to say it doesn't matter anyways because he's in love with someone else. They're interrupted when Andy knocks on the door to say goodbye. As they hug goodbye, based on Andy's facial expressions, Phil realizes that Hailey is the girl Andy was talking about earlier. He tries to tell them that they love each other and that Andy is making a huge mistake by proposing to Beth, but they can't hear him as the sound on his iPad is magically turned off.
It's Hailey. Hailey's the girl. You love Hailey?
Andy leaves with Beth to head to the beach where he's planning to propose to her. Hailey closes the door behind them and storms off, upset and frustrated, and this is how we leave things until the next season. Crazy, right?
It's not sweet. Hailey and Andy love each other, but they don't know it.
Is that true, honey?
Thankfully, season 7 opens exactly where we left off. Phil is trying to sort out their miscommunication before it's too late. Over the phone, he reveals Andy's plans to propose and tells Hailey that Andy is also in love with her. It's an incredibly validating, heartfelt moment that finally pushes Hailey to act on her feelings. She races to the beach to stop Andy from proposing to Beth. However, this plan goes awry when Claire stops Hailey to ask her if she's sure about what she's about to do.
Who knows, but shouldn't we get a chance to find out what we are?
That second of doubt was all the universe needed because as Hailey turned around, Andy is already down on one knee proposing to Beth. Before she can even get to them, Beth says yes. Personally, I would have told her he's not that serious and she should still go try and get her man. Because, like, if the engagement can end because of that, then clearly it wasn't meant to be, right?
We had a wonderful time, didn't we, sweetie?
I'm not crying anymore.
The fallout is immediate, and months later, Hailey is a depressed mess. Phil, trying to cheer up the girls, takes the family out, and this is where the writers pivot. Phil runs into Dylan, and in the classic sitcom move, Hailey runs back to her comfort zone, reconciling with Dylan. Ugh. A few months pass, and Andy shows up with paperwork for Phil. While at the house, he overhears Phil and Claire discussing Hailey's rush to the beach, and the truth hits him like a truck.
Andy, I am really sorry. I didn't mean for you to hear that.
Do not worry. You big dip.
Reeling from the realization that his love was reciprocated and he missed his chance, he shoves a cupcake into his mouth, then grabs another. This is the birth of Andy's emotional eating. Because the next time we see Andy, he's gained a bit of weight. Hailey overhears her parents discussing that Andy found out about the truth and that's why he's gained weight. This leads to a confrontational talk. Hailey asks him if he still has feelings for her, and he deflects, saying that he's engaged. They lash out, exchanging insults about Beth and Dylan, then storm off pretending that it was a good thing they never got together.
Then I guess it's a good thing that we didn't get together.
Best decision I ever made.
Samesies.
Stop it! Denial is a river in Egypt!
The relationship roller coaster continues in episode 6 when Hailey and Dylan run into Andy and Beth at a cinema. They are forced to sit together, and Hailey is deeply uncomfortable, but Andy seems fine. The zombie movie they're watching parallels their situation, a tragic couple unable to connect, and then it hits Hailey. She pulls Andy aside afterwards, asking why he wasn't affected. And he notes that he was pretty hung up on her for a few months, but now he sees Beth in a whole new way and he's completely over Hailey. This visibly crushes her. And on the way home, she realizes everyone, Andy, Beth, even her family, are moving forward, but her and Dylan are moving backwards, and she breaks up with him.
Actually, we're stopping because I want to get out of the car.
Dylan.
Stop! I'm tired of being jerked around.
I gotta go my own way.
Thank God I used to pray for times like this. They are reunited once more when Andy finds Hailey hiding out in a house that Phil is trying to sell. Some more sitcom hijinks ensue, and they end up falling in the bathtub. When they're waiting for their clothes to dry, Hailey confesses she broke up with Dylan because she wanted what Andy and Beth had. As they're having this deep chat, the house's automated system, the mood lighting, the fire, the transforming couch bed creates the perfect, unavoidable romantic setting. They lean in for a kiss, but are interrupted by other members of the family who are also secretly using the house.
It's the house!
I mean, the fireplace, the music.
The crazy couch bed?
Anyone could have gotten swept up.
Once the usual sitcom shenanigans are over and everyone eventually leaves, Andy and Hailey reappear. Andy blames romantic energy on the house and Hailey agrees, but then in a sudden and vulnerable move, Hailey leaps into his arms and they share a very passionate kiss, basically starting an affair. And tell me if I'm wrong, but surely her interrupting the engagement would have been better than this, right? But all for the drama, I guess.
I have to hang up on this booty call.
Oh, wait, what?
You and me, this has to stop. I'm so racked with guilt. I keep giving money to different charities. I even funded a Zach Braff movie on Kickstarter.
Andy, slow down.
The guilt, of course, hangs over them. Hailey tells Alex that she slept with him, and they come to the correct conclusion that sleeping with an engaged man just ain't it. So Hailey and Andy meet up to end things, but the attraction is just too strong and they just can't seem to help themselves. They end up back in bed, officially accepting that the affair won't be ending anytime soon.
How about you? Did you do it?
Yep, I sure did.
The secret affair reaches a boiling point in episode 9 at the family Christmas cabin trip. Hailey and Andy are caught red-handed by everyone, and while Hailey tried to lie, Andy comes clean, confessing their improper relations. This causes Phil to give him an ultimatum, either end the fling or step up and talk to Beth. The drama escalates immediately as Beth arrives, but before Andy can confess, Beth reveals that she's been cheating on him with 2 other guys.
I've been dating him for a few months behind your back. I'm actually cheating on him too.
You mean with me?
No.
For me, that was just a cop-out from the writers. Yeah, it's a sitcom, whatever, but still a cop-out. But of course, this causes them to break up. And now with Beth gone and the truth out, the scene ends on a triumphant note.
That's Beth's.
Oh, so you admit you're still in love with her?
What? Ow.
Just saying hey hurts, doesn't it?
Fast forward to episode 14, and Andy's acting a bit cold. Hailey's still thinking with her past self, assuming that he's rejecting her for Beth, and she walks away from him. Andy chases after her in a storm and reveals that he just wants to slow down and catch up emotionally to where they are physically, fearing that they will burn out if they don't. Though Hailey argues that they won't burn out, Andy states that he just wants the relationship to start with a magical first date and not another secret hookup. This makes Hailey laugh, realizing that they're already in a magical cinematic moment standing in the rain. They kiss and it's so damn cute. This is where I'd say they officially started their real committed relationship.
We're not going to burn out. I liked you way before we ever hooked up.
I just want our relationship to be as good as our affair.
From here, the relationship just continues to blossom, showing the fun, supportive side of Andy that Hailey loves, but the timing curse returns once more.
So you're turning down a chance to move home for your dream job, an actual career, all because of a girl?
Andy is offered his dream job in real estate back in Utah. Hailey overhears him on the phone turning the job down because of her, with his cousin even saying that this Hailey must be something special for him to not take the opportunity up. But then, Phil gives Andy some advice that he should take the job, because if their bond is strong enough, they will eventually find their way back to each other. Hailey, wanting to be supportive and mature, echoes what her dad said.
I love you and me together, but it would break my heart if I was the reason you gave up this dream career opportunity
But he said,
Despite their love for each other, they decide that a long-distance relationship is just not feasible. They make the mature but sad decision to break up so Andy can take the job. They part ways on good terms, acknowledging the ways they've helped each other become better people.
I don't regret a single minute I've spent with you.
I think you're the first man I've ever loved.
At the airport, they share one final knowing kiss and walk away in opposite directions, visibly saddened. We, along with Hailey, are left devastated, and this was the end of the Andy Bailey storyline. Though I am still pissed at them for not being endgame, I have to give it to the writers that this is often the reality. Sometimes a great love isn't meant to last forever. Sometimes you can just be appreciative and grateful that you experienced it, and then you take the lessons you learn from that love with you as you grow.
You like him. No, I don't. What? This is so hilarious. He's totally not your type. Shut up.
The relationship didn't start with a bang. It started with friction, as they were forced to spend time together, often babysitting Joe or attending the Dunphy family events. The initial friction evolved into genuine, easygoing friendship. Their chemistry grew gradually through small, meaningful moments. Hailey teasing Andy for his earnestness, but secretly admiring it, appreciating his goodness and stability. And Andy noticing Hailey's hidden intelligence and heart, seeing potential and kindness in her that most people overlook. They became unlikely friends, a foundation neither of them saw coming.
I'm trying to be a better person. Ironically, you're one of the reasons why. But
Hailey and Andy weren't just a couple, they were narrative devices representing personal growth. For Hailey, Andy symbolized emotional maturity. He was a mirror showing her potential beyond surface level chaos. Around him, she became more compassionate, responsible, and intentional. And for Andy, Hailey represented freedom, a break from his rigid idealism. Through her, he learned that love isn't about perfect plans, it's about embracing imperfections.
I know you can't keep up, but I'd rather slow down. I like the me I am when I'm with you.
These were two people who probably felt like others had decided who they were before they even figured it out themselves. They found each other at the exact moment they needed someone to say, "You can be more than who you've been." That's the core of why they worked. Mutual elevation. They didn't regress each other, they propelled each other forward. This felt like a genuine, mature adult relationship, something Hailey desperately needed.
Thing you said about not throwing up.
Oh my God!
I guess some boys are good to scratch.
The emotional complexity of their forbidden romance was high stakes. It wasn't just funny, it was a bona fide sitcom romance. We watched them take turns yearning for each other, overcoming obstacles like Hailey's fear of commitment and Andy's complicated engagement to Beth. We saw them choose each other time and time again until they couldn't anymore.
okay, she may be real, but no way you are. Who talks like that?
What also made them work so powerfully was that their chemistry was rooted in contrast. Hailey's impulsiveness collided with Andy's structure. Where she carried insecurity, he brought encouragement and unwavering faith. And underneath those differences was a shared vulnerability. Both characters were underestimated, not just by the people around them, but by themselves. Hailey was dismissed as a pretty shallow one with nothing meaningful ahead of her, and Andy was labeled as overly nice, slightly clueless guy, and together they pushed back against those labels. Opposites don't work when one person tries to fix the other. They work when they expand each other. Andy didn't try to change Hailey, he simply believed in her, and sometimes belief is like oxygen when you spent years living in someone else's shadow. And Hailey didn't save Andy either, she challenged him. She invited him to loosen up, to embrace uncertainty, to laugh more, and to stop gripping so tightly to perfection. And in doing so, she helped him to grow into someone who could imagine a bigger, brighter future for himself.
It's weird. There's something about him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's just like Dad.
And when you take a step back, the writers were actually giving us a blueprint for what they were building. Hailey and Andy were Claire and Phil 2.0. This is where the relationship felt like destiny. Phil and Claire worked so well because they balanced each other out. Claire, the driven realist, and Phil, the dreamer. Hailey and Andy mirrored this exact structure. And that's why this didn't feel like another one of Hailey's casual flings. It felt like a generational echo, a romantic rhythm repeating across time. Phil and Andy shared the same spirit, both goofy, optimistic, slightly naive, and full of genuine heart. They saw the world with this hopeful, glass half full energy, believing things would work out if you try hard enough and keep smiling. So the daughter falling for a slightly goofier, more optimistic version of her dad felt like the show setting up its own endgame, a poetic parallel across generations.
So you two really aren't together?
No.
No. She's like weirdly obsessed with us.
Hailey and Andy weren't just a couple, they were a continuation of the family's emotional lineage, and losing them felt like losing one of the most beautifully crafted parallels the show ever built.
Will you? Oh, going over. Okay, I'm fine. Will you marry me?
This is exactly how I imagined it.
Hailey's and Andy's relationship wasn't a fairy tale, it was earned. The show used humor, awkward timing, and heartwarming dialogue to develop something that actually resembled real love. The writers gave them space to evolve, but just as the relationship hit its emotional depth, the show shifted gears, pulling them apart and eventually writing Andy out. I should note that the reason for this was reportedly due to real-world scheduling conflicts with Adam Levine, but this wasn't just a breakup, it was a narrative loss. It's unfortunate that with Andy's departure, it felt like the writers just hit the reset button on Hailey's maturity. And that brings us to the biggest letdown. When Hailey's storyline moved towards Dylan again, the show made a nostalgic but regressive choice.
Yeah. Who says we have to race into being adults? Why wouldn't you want to enjoy a carefree life as long as you could?
Now let me be clear, I love Dylan. He's sweet and loyal. Sure, he's funny and his presence ties back to Modern Family's earlier seasons. And I hate to say it, but although he was a great partner for teenage Hailey, he was absolutely the wrong choice for grown-up Hailey. From a storytelling perspective, Dylan represented comfort, not growth. Hailey and Andy challenged each other, while Dylan and Hailey fell back into familiarity. With Andy, Hailey was moving forward towards a career, towards a more grounded sense of self, but with Dylan, she was simply reverting.
Dylan is really going through something. I think he might be regressing. To what?
Dylan allowed her to be the version of herself that needed to be loved in spite of her lack of ambition, rather than the person who was being inspired to have ambition. The show tried to replicate the Phil and Claire narrative by having Hailey get pregnant with Dylan, forcing them into marriage and maturity, but it didn't feel earned. It felt like the writers needed a quick exit for Hailey's maturity and just dumped her back with the safe, easy option. It might have wrapped things up neatly for the writers, but it undermined years of character development.
And I know I can always be myself. And he'll always love me for it.
And thankfully, it's not just me that noticed. Across Twitter, Reddit, and YouTube comments, there's a consistent sentiment. Hailey and Andy felt real, and they deserved endgame. Their chemistry wasn't performative. It was built on micro-expressions, unspoken affection, and emotional timing that felt lived in. People connected to them because they reflected relationships in transition, where two people genuinely love each other, but life, timing, or fear gets in the way. And that's why losing their storyline felt so frustrating, because the show, in its final seasons, leaned towards nostalgia instead of evolution, wrapping its characters in tidy bows rather than letting them continue to grow, even though it's just a sitcom. So that's my case. Hailey Dunphy and Andy Bailey were the definition of a great TV pairing. They were dynamic, romantic, and they made each other better people. It's the one ending Modern Family got, or were forced to get wrong. Hailey and Andy's story reminds us that not every great love ends happily, but that doesn't make it any less meaningful. They showed us growth, empathy, and the quiet strength of connection. In a show about families that break, bend, and come back together, theirs was a love story that felt refreshingly real, and maybe that's why we still hold on to it. Their story reminds us that not all love is meant to last forever, and that's okay, because we got to experience it anyways. I'm curious to hear your thoughts on the relationship. If you have any, do let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos like this. Also hit the notification bell so you don't miss my next upload. That's all for today, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!